All right. Hello, everyone. We are now
Hello.
live. I am Kira Morrison. I'm LACM's social media coordinator. I'm here with our illustrious vocal department head, David Joyce. We're really excited to be here. We're going to be talking about the vocal program. We got some great faculty and students on board to come and chat with us about being a vocal student, being a working vocalist, and we're just going to wait a couple minutes, wait for people to join us here on the stream. In the meantime, please drop a comment. Let us know who you are, where you're watching from. And you are always welcome to ask questions in the comments at any time. So please post your questions in the comments. And we will get started very shortly. Oh, hearts, thank you. All right, well, I think we can get started. So everyone, we have David Joyce here today. He is our vocal department head. I have had the pleasure of working with him a lot at LACM, both as a student, as an alumni. He has a crazy list of credits: Oasis, Natalie Cole, Elvis Costello, Sheryl Crow, Ray Charles. He's sung on a ton of movies. So, who better to tell us how it is to be a working vocalist than David Joyce? So take it away, David.
Thanks. Really good to be here. Thanks so much, Kira. It's I'll just little appreciation for Kira. You've just been such a gift as a student and as a leader amongst the students. And we may say something more about that. Yeah, how your energy and your enthusiasm and your ability to connect with people made a difference for you, as I saw it as a student, and as I see it in your career too, that I can trust in anything that I've ever referred you for or told you about, that you would well represent yourself as well as me, as well as the school. And that says a lot. It's something that you really want in anybody who's trying to be a professional at anything, and you really have, those qualities just in spades. It's just wonderful. It's really great to.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I learned from the best. Oh, I was trying to point to you, but it's the opposite. There we go.
Well, we have some of the other people that you learned from too, and looking forward to introducing Aaron Bentledge and Jessica Vautour and and I still don't know how to say that right, so forgive me. But and Gary Stockdale, and we've got some great students. So
we sure do.
This is gonna be fun. That we call this and also I want to give you credit that I had some titles for this, and you came up with the title that I loved, which is How to Thrive in Your Career as a Vocalist. And something that we'll talk a lot about a little bit more is the difference between striving and thriving. And that, people can work really hard and not thrive. And so what's the difference? And one of the things that I want to talk about, and I hope to hear some other people talk about too, is the various things that we have to do these days to be successful as a singer, as a musician, as an artist. Some of those things are going to be monetarily remunerative, and others are going to be just about thriving as a human being and in our lives. And from that is where the artistry comes. I think we learn skills, and at the school we teach skills, but we also try and bring the attitude and energy that allows people to be more human. And our teachers really, it's not a good fit if that doesn't work. So some of the, I'm just going to go down a couple of things that and then we'll talk about these things at more depth. But thinking about really being a singer today and thriving entails a number of different qualities and our attributes as human beings, and the most basic of which is physical. We want to take care of this body. The throat is not like an instrument that I can take a guitar we broke some strings, we broke the fretboard or whatever, take it to the shop. It's connected to my body. So if I don't take care of this body with adequate rest and exercise and all that stuff, in addition to the other things of learning the physical skills, the muscle memory of being able to identify intervals and learn that stuff, which moves into the mind, which is how to take care of the mind and learn the skills that we need to have and take care of the emotions. Because a lot of times students come to the school and they're like, oh my gosh, I've never been across country away from, in another culture. And
Yeah.
it can be alarming. And so taking care of our emotions and having the social connections and close connections. And it's been, for me personally, I'll just say that it's been challenging. I know that most people that I know, it's been really challenging. A lot of people have done a lot of emotional and psychological and spiritual work to be settled in this time and to prosper from this time and to thrive, not just survive, and not just work hard to strive. But let's see. So, and the last piece is I think, whether you have a spiritual connection or a religious or whatever you want to call it, but a connection that brings us all together, that we realize that we're not alone, we're not functioning as an individual, and that with that attitude, it helps us to support one another and to realize it's not me against you, it's not you against the next person, but it's like we can all pull together. And it's something that in you and your classmates, you really modeled that really well. And you were one of the people that I think really helped make that happen for your group. And today we have several groups of the students that are, it's amazing. They come from all over different parts of the states and around the world, and yet they're like brothers and sisters. They just really care about each other deeply. And to me, that's, whether you have a truly spiritual connection or not, that is that too. And that's something that I really want and strive for at our school, because it's what we want in our world,
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I think the community is like one of the most beautiful parts of LACM, and the fact that it's a small school and you really get so close with your classmates. I mean, some of the people that I started with the vocal program like are still some of my best friends. We work together all the time. We sing on each other's shows, albums, and I think, it's such a great network. And I think the school really helps facilitate that, whether it be students or department heads like yourself. Like I remember when you first came in, you had all these quarterly meetings with all the students where we could just gather and just tell you like what's going on in our classes, what we're happy with, what we're not happy with. And I think that's something that's hard to find at a school, especially in a larger school setting.
Thanks. That's really important to me. Before we're going to invite some of the other people on here in just a minute, but I just wanted to, while you're here, if you would, I'm going to ask some of the other students some of the same things. And I guess I didn't tell you about this, so I'm popping this on you. But what are some of the things that you learned that you didn't know that you might learn, that you didn't expect to learn when you were at school? And also secondarily, after when you got out of school, things that helped the transition into the professional world like you're doing now?
I mean, I think just the program in general really opened my eyes to a whole other set of career opportunities. And it actually not quite caused me, but gave me the inspiration to kind of shift my career completely during the course of my schooling. Because before I started, the only option for professional singer that I knew of was just like be a touring recording artist. And so I was like, that's what I'm going to do because I want to sing, and like, here we go. And it's still an awesome career option if you want to do that. And I was pursuing it for a long time, but the program really gives you so many tools and options for so many different types of careers. And I just like was, I don't know if overwhelmed is the right word, but I was like, whoa, I could do this, or like I could be a background singer on tour, or I could sing on a cruise ship, or I could like have a jazz trio, or I could be a session singer or an MD or arrange vocals. And like, I was so excited by all those possibilities, and like just learning all of those tools really made me feel like a more self-sufficient artist. And I just had this confidence when I graduated that like, no matter what area of singing I wanted to pursue, like I could do it. And like, I knew what I had to do to get there. So that was like probably the biggest thing I learned, is just that there are so many more options available than you think there are. Yeah. And I was able to learn the skills to be able to get to that place, and, to be able to provide for myself as a musician, writing my own charts and, knowing how to arrange things and lead a band, just such important things if you want to be a working singer.
Well, you said it. It's something that I found in my own career, and it's something that I really want. And it's something that manifests in the other teachers and and most of the students too, is that developing a broad skill set, finding out what it is that you're passionate about and really diving into that. That's really important, obviously. But also having all of these different avenues that are open to you. I thought I was going to be a film composer. That's what I wanted to do. And I did a little bit of that. And then I, started touring, but I was called for an audition. I'll tell this, just this brief story, that I got called. I was headed to the bank. There wasn't even pagers at the time.
Wow.
So, or at least there were pages, but probably I wasn't working enough to need that. So I grabbed the phone, I left, and they said, "Hey, can you come down and audition? Natalie Cole needs a band. She's opening in 5 weeks in Vegas." And I was like, I just gotten out of school. Like, okay, sure, I'll come down. And ended up playing. And the guy that was playing before me was a better player than I was at certain things. He was just great. And then I sat down and I played they had some orchestral stuff. So I played some of the parts, and I said, "What do you want me to play? The strings or the brass?" And they said, "Wow, that's great." And they said, "You're hired." And I said, "But that guy played so great." And they said, "Yeah, but it took him 4 hours to learn 2 songs, and you did 4 songs in an hour. So, and you're reducing the scores and stuff, and we open in 5 weeks. We need somebody, so this needs to it was actually less than that. It was only a few weeks. In any case, I realized that, gosh, the skills that I had no idea that playing string quartets would have any impact on my career. And I ended up, buying a house from the money that I made from that tour. And I met Burt Bacharach's people, and I've been doing some of these same things. You just never know what somebody's going to lead to. So I think that having that broad skill set, being able to, write charts, arrange, sing, produce, play, sight sing, ear, do things by ear, all of those things leave you with the opportunities that you're now feeling open to and maximizing. So
thank you. Yeah, it was a huge help, realizing that and gaining that confidence. And also, not to get too dark here, but I think as a singer, we've all experienced in some shape or form not being taken seriously because we're singers, and people don't think we're real musicians because we don't play an instrument. And I think learning those other tools that help people take you more seriously is also really important. So you can, I don't want to say fight back, but you can, prove yourself to anyone who thinks that vocalists aren't real musicians.
Yeah, so true. Well, thank you so much for sharing that too. I appreciate that, Kira. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, who do you want to bring on?
Well, I actually thought that I would bring on the 3 faculty, and because each one of them represents some different broad skill sets, but yeah, if you can bring on, if that's okay, we'll just bring on all 3, because we'll just hit them. Erin Bentledge.
Hello.
Talk about somebody who's multi-talented, and I had no idea what a wonderful arranger you were until heard some of the recent things, some of which you may get to play today. But super uber talented, and Gary Stockdale, who's just been a friend for many years in the session world, and a player, and find out that he played piano on a bunch of records that I've listened to over the years, and then I hear him playing guitar and producing and writing songs, and I don't know what all else you do aside from being a father and a husband, and living a very busy life as a writer and producer for different artists and TV and stuff. And Jessica, who's just models to me being a human being, really, that you just have this broad range of skills, not only musically, but also just as a human being. You bring so much heart and soul to your teaching and to the music, and getting to watch you perform. I just love seeing you show yourself and how the students connect with you because of that multitude of abilities. And so thank you so much for each of you for being here. So, of this topic of thriving as in your career as a vocalist, Jessica, maybe you can tell us a little bit more, some thoughts. You know, we had a conversation a few days ago about this, and would love to hear your take on this topic, if you wouldn't mind, and
Of course.
where we need to go with that.
I am, I think, very atypical because I am not someone who advertises or I don't use social media a lot for my career. I take pictures of wood and ocean and I put it on my Instagram. So I wouldn't say this this is the best way to advertise, my singing and my career. But I've always had this more organic approach to life where I just trust life to take care of me. And I always follow what feels right, like feels like this is what I need to do. And I don't, once I've decided to do this, I don't worry about anything. So I am very strong-willed in what is meant for me. And as soon as I know I'm aligned with myself, I don't worry about anything that's around me. So that's how I chose music. And as a teenager, I told my parents if I graduate with honors, I choose my field. They said no problem. They thought I would be a doctor, and I told them I'm going to study music, and they just got really scared. But that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to sing since I'm 3 years old. I knew I would be a singer, and there was nothing else. There's in my life than just becoming a singer, and that's what I did. I went to school. I studied in 4 different music schools, like 2 classical schools. I studied opera for like 5 years. Then I went to America to study more because I figured if you don't come to America, you haven't been exposed to the full experience of learning music, different styles. So I studied so many different styles of music because I was interested, not because I felt pressure to. I really wanted to learn. And then I started singing. Suddenly I'm gigging. And from there I never stopped singing. That's all I've been doing. I just kept singing and feeling more and more aligned with myself.
It seems like your career is really so much been, in my senses, and I think what you're saying is that it's not based on the promotion and branding and things that are, for example, given to our students at the school, where they have classes that they have to build a website, they have to work on branding, they have to do all that stuff. And for you, it's just based on people who know you. It's word of mouth. People who know you.
Exactly.
I've never talked to anybody that doesn't know you that says, "Oh my gosh, she's amazing," and that's really says something. And it's not that you didn't work. Just to be clear, that you went to these schools, you studied all these different things, so you worked your butt off.
Yes.
But now you get to live in alignment with that and just let those things manifest without having to strive, as we were talking about so much.
Yes, that's how it feels. Also, I never recorded an album under my name. And
Wow.
I always thought that if people want to hear me, they have to come hear me live.
That's more difficult these days.
It is. It's a little challenging right now. But that was my conviction that music is something you experience live. This is something that you share with other people. And I'm much more of a live singer than I am a recording artist. I love recording songs because I write. But for me, the experience of music has to be live. Like I'm very old school in that matter, where I feel like we have to be there physically with people.
Well, I think that, that's something that is really important. Is still figuring out the way to maintain connection, maintain human connections with people, and for you, I think that you just live that way. So you find ways to make that happen. The technology follows the humanity. Sometimes it goes the other way around. That the technology comes first, and then if you're lucky, the person is able to show themselves for what the human being is, but they're busy getting the technological stuff together. And it can work either way. But cool. Thanks so much for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Gary.
Yes, sir.
You, on the other hand, are not only multi-talented, multifaceted, but you have been, I have really admired how in the last number of years, you have figured out ways to continue to reinvent yourself and to put yourself out there. And you've got just some great things that are going on in your life without it seeming like it's all about Gary, but it's like, I want to get my stuff out there, and you love it. It's not just about an ego thing. It's like what you do, you manifest it, you put it out there, and then you're like, now I have to do the work to get it out there. And so you're doing this. You want to tell us a little bit about what you've been doing, your show?
I try to remain a moving target. I mean, I've been lucky enough to make my living in the music business since I was in my 20s, and that's 40 years ago. Yeah. I spent many years being a TV and film scorer, doing television shows. I did Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and I did a show. I imagine we're all adults here, or roughly adults, so I can say I did a show called Penn and Teller Bullshit for 8 years on Showtime. And but I was always a performer, but when some of the TV work started going to different people and I sort of got out of the loop to a certain extent, I just went back to my performing and started working and touring. And I'm doing a streaming Facebook Live show every Tuesday at 5:30. That's called Safe at Home with the @ sign. And dealing with technology, dealing with Spectrum's signal and stuff like that, getting it out there. But it's been great fun. I've been doing themed covers and also my own tunes. I just did 2 weeks of summer tunes, going back in the archives of all kinds of different things. And and I still have done 1 million vocal sessions with you. So to me, to make a living in this business, if that's what you want to do, I think you've either got to do one thing so incredibly well that you don't have to do anything else.
Right.
Or in my case, you have to be good enough at a whole lot of things to be able to, when you're not getting paid over here, you get paid over here doing that. So I've been an arranger, I've been a composer, I've been a singer, I've been an instrumentalist, and so again, it's sort of, like a mercenary, whatever they pay me for, strap on the gun and join that army. So yeah, I think that now that we are in a situation where we can market ourselves, if you want to, to a certain extent, we have the ability to sort of shape our own careers. We can be the Gary Stockdale station, the Aaron Bentledge station, like you're a TV station, like you're an entity, and people can get product directly from you. I think was it Liz Fair or something like that, one of these gals that did this really early, got out of the record company and started marketing their own stuff through their own websites and things like that. So, and I will also echo one more thing that you said, and then I'll shut up and let Aaron talk. But boy, keeping yourself in shape is the whole game. I take a vocal lesson every week. I constantly drink lots of water, and which I've told my students, Will and Nicole, that are coming on. That's very important to keep yourself hydrated, and just to make sure that you keep the instrument in shape. You're an oboe, you're a tuba, but they're more resilient. So you need to make sure that you're in good health, and keep that. I'm fortunate in that I'm singing now better, higher, stronger than I ever have. And that's because of some good vocal training and also just doing the work. So
Gary, just for a second, I want to mention that because I studied too with Robert Edwards when he was in Los Angeles for many years. But you have been studying. This is not a new thing to study online for you. You've been taking voice lessons with Robert from up in Big Sur, Carmel, for a number of years, right?
Well, you can help me with what his credits were. Our vocal teacher, Robert Edwards, taught Sheryl Crow, taught, what are the huge amounts of all the session singers in LA, all the
That's
people.
The main thing, is that, yeah.
But he did quite a few stars, and he was tired of driving down from Carmel by the time he hit about 79. So he's teaching Skype from his place in Carmel. And I do that, like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning. And it's really, it's an awesome thing. And it's great. And Skype works really well for that. So do other things. I think Zoom a little less because there's such a delay, but evidently they're doing an audio upgrade in Zoom, so we're waiting for that. But yeah,
we're using StreamYard here too, and there's
yes.
other protocols. But my point was just that not everybody was forced into this by COVID. That there are times sometimes we want to, and as an artist too, you can be anywhere and do things if you have those skills. And students that are graduating these days are going to be able to, because they're kind of forced to. But it's a good thing because they're going to be able to be wherever they want and not feel like you have to go to the Mecca of LA. And you can study at LACM now from China. You can study from Europe. You can study from different places.
Well, my buddy Dan Navarro, who you know well, who's a great singer and wrote a big hit song called "We Belong" that Pat Benatar did, and you'll hear it on ads all the time. I call him up. I go, "You're making money right now." But he has done this streaming show too, and he's making good coin off of that.
Wow,
because people really are starved for entertainment, especially during this time. And you build your crowd, you build your people, you build your fan base. Not you don't even have to supermarket yourself. Just be there, be out there, be where people can find you. Please,
Aaron, thanks so much for being here. I just just seeing your smile and just seeing the piano there, and
it's my childhood piano.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really.
And in my childhood home. This is where I caught the bug.
Which is where?
Vermont. I'm in Vermont right now.
Nice.
So it's different coast from you guys. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
My elder brother John just moved to Vermont.
Oh, really?
Battlesboro, I think it's.
Yeah, Brattleboro.
Yeah, Brattleboro.
That's southern. There's actually an amazing jazz center down there.
Exactly. So tell us what your thoughts on thriving, as a vocalist in these times, and what are you doing, and what would you wish for, perhaps?
Yeah. I love what both Jessica and Gary said, and as they're speaking, I was like, what am I going to say? Because there's so many directions that you can take. I could focus on who I was as a 3-year-old, that I still remember when I'm where do I find my North Star, or I could talk about, what I'm doing now to pay my rent, because I'm still paying rent in LA, even though I'm not there. There are a lot of things, but I guess right now, in 2020 with this COVID situation that we're all in, I think it just is showing us all that self-sufficiency continues to be important. And I think Kira kind of touched on this too, as a singer, singers often don't get very much credit for being self-sufficient or even having ideas in the first place. Mm-hmm. So that's a little unfair, but I think a big thing for me has always been that I knew that I had ideas and I trusted that I had ideas. So it was more of a question of what tools do I need to bring myself to make my ideas come alive?
Gotcha.
And I think that every singer is capable of that. It's just a matter of what that looks like. But yeah, it's a huge question. I don't even know what direction to go with it.
Well, you've been at a couple different schools, and so I would be curious to know what you think. What are some of the things that you learned in school and things that you? Because I'm going to ask the students this too. It just seems like people know what to. Well, not everybody knows what to expect from school, but to some extent, we've talked about it, that you're going to learn sight singing, you're going to learn ear training, you're going to sing in an ensemble, you're going to learn styles, a lot of different things, stylistic things. You're going to study songwriting. You're going to probably study a little bit of guitar, and at our school, percussion and drums a bit, keyboards. You're going to learn all that stuff. What did you learn in school? Because you were at you were also in school at a couple different places, if I'm not mistaken. But I know that you were at Berkeley, and what did you learn at school that you didn't expect to learn, and that you have found useful?
Yeah. So again, because I'm from Vermont, there's a lot of great music in Vermont, but it's very small. So I think the main thing for me with going to music school was that there was no other way for me to be exposed to the things that I learned eventually were the things that I wanted to do. I knew from playing this piano, I knew what felt good, when I was just singing and playing piano by myself. I also grew up dancing, so I knew what felt good to dance to. you know, like I like Chopin, like I know I like Chopin, you know, but I think when you're a human, right, you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And so it's easy to say like, well, if like I've taken the approach before where it's like, well, if you're curious enough about something, you'll learn it. Like you don't need school to learn something that you really care about, which is true. But if you don't even know that the thing is there, then you're not even going to know that you want to go down that path. So I think for me, being in school just like illuminated all of these different paths, and I can kind of sprint down whichever one I wanted to sprint down for that week.
Right.
And that was really huge. And I was actually having a conversation with a student recently this week where it's like, it can be hard to be in school as a musician because musicians are supposed to be like these independent, creative thinkers where you're trying to like follow your inner instinct. And how can you do that when you have, you know, 7 different teachers asking you to submit this on time and this on time and this on time? Gotcha. So there's like a funny juxtaposition, but you still need that. Like you're not going to, you know, reach levels that you didn't even know were there unless you have someone who can see them and can see where you are and help you kind of climb.
Very true.
Yeah.
I've taught songwriting in a couple other schools and things, and you know, my concept on that is that there are a lot of great songwriters who've never studied songwriting. They come up with great ideas, but I know for myself, I learn well with others. I have to do my own work, but I also feel better when I'm connected with others. And I've told my students, listen, if you can study this stuff on your own, and if you have the discipline to do that, you can learn a lot of this stuff. But what a teacher and a school can bring is the ability to facilitate that process immensely. And then secondarily, and more importantly, is like what you're saying is such a great point, that there's all these things that we don't know. And that's such a huge issue, is that oftentimes I come in, I'm going to be a singer, a student will come to me, I want to be a singer. And they know 2 things about what that is. I sing the song well, I do really well, and then people like that, and then they like what I'm doing, they want to buy, you know, that's about it. They have no idea of all of the range of things that makes for a great singer. So you're somebody that all 3 of you are people that really manifest this huge range of knowledge that I think so many people would at face value just go, well, you make it look so easy. Why I could just do that, right? And I'd say, give it a shot. Give it some decades of experience, and you know.
Well, and another thing, like when you say some people are amazing songwriters and never went to school for it, right? Like that's so true. But I'm so curious who they automatically had in their network. You know, like me coming from Vermont, I didn't have. I don't want to discredit. I had some incredible teachers in high school that really helped me. But I'm thinking of like you know, if James Taylor was your godfather, like your chances of just becoming an incredible songwriter without going to school are really, really good. Yeah. Whereas like if you don't have someone who can help you out, if you don't come from a musical family, if you don't come from a city where there's like a thriving music scene, then you're not going to actually just arrive there on your own. You know?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, you could, never say never, but.
It does happen, but I was just listening to a recording of Stephen Sondheim and how he was kind of adopted by Oscar Hammerstein. And it's like, that was kind of his uncle, and he just spent all this time. And so he learned, basically he was in the school of Oscar Hammerstein, who was this masterful guy that taught him all this stuff and mentored him through all of that. So that was, you know, if you have an opportunity like that, don't pass it up.
Right.
But Erin, would you mind, do you have something that you were going to share with us today? Would you share some music with us?
Yeah, of course. So one of the things that I am doing in quarantine, well, I was doing it prior to quarantine. I'm in a new vocal group called Sage. And we actually don't even live in the same city, all of us. 2 of us are in LA and 2 of us are in like the Seattle area. So we were already kind of how Gary's already been taking lessons online. We were already having to do some virtual stuff. We already kind of had like a structure in place. And then COVID hit and we were like, all right, let's go. You know, so we started a Patreon account, which has been really cool. And we have all these different things that we're doing. But thankfully, we already had something in place. But what I wanted to share today was the first project that we arranged, recorded, made a video, edited all that stuff in quarantine. So none of us were in the same building at any point when we did this.
Fabulous.
So it's an arrangement, an India Arie song called I Am Light. And it was arranged by me and another member named Sarah. Sarah basically sent me like a piece of paper with like some arranging ideas, and then I kind of took them and orchestrated them, and we did it that way.
This is Sarah Gazarik.
Sarah Gazarik, yes.
And the other members?
The other members are Amanda Taylor and Jana Kendrick. Amanda is a literal genius jazz arranger. And Jana has already had an incredible soloist career, has a couple records out. Everyone in the group has their own like incredible
superstars.
You know, it's pretty cool. Okay, so can everybody see this? Are we good to go?
Yeah, we're good to go.
All right, I will full screen it. And here we go.
The things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. 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 I'm not the mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that caused me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. 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 I am not the color of my eye. I am not my skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race. My soul inside is all light. I am 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 divinity defined. I am God on the inside. I am the star, a piece of it all. I am light.
Oh, I'm muted. There we go. Thank you so much for listening.
That's just stunning.
That was gorgeous.
Thank you.
Fabulous. Do I?
Yeah. So
No, I was
Go
just going to say,
ahead.
do we know any of those other singers? Are they?
So Sarah Gazarek actually taught at LACM.
Yeah.
Is that me? Ooh. Sarah Gazarek actually taught at LACM a couple years ago, I think. She was now at USC. And then Amanda and Janae, who are the other two, they live in Seattle. You've probably heard things that they've done. You maybe didn't know that they were involved, but yeah, everyone's pretty powerful.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And you got that B major chord in the middle of that, the whole thing. It just killed me. I had to go to the piano. It's like, what is that? Where
do we go? Yeah. I think that's the thing, kind of like what I was referring to before, where those kind of moments are the things that for me, it's like my soul needs to be able to do that. I need it. I felt that way since I was 15. Like the first time that I ever was like playing changes on the piano and like made one of them minor instead of major and realized that you can shift the feeling. I was like, I need to be able to do that. So my last, 10, 15 years has just been chasing that kind of thing. And like when Jessica was saying that she likes to just be aligned with herself, like to me, if I know that I'm aligned with myself, if my curiosity is the thing that's driving me.
Yeah. Before we go on though, from the beauty of that moment, Aaron, I wanted to read this quote. I think I shared it with you and Sarah actually just recently, but it's from Martha Graham to Agnes DeMille. It's a quote from 100 years ago, basically, and it was a conversation that they're both dancers and choreographers, and Martha and Agnes DeMille had just had this big success, but she felt insecure about herself and felt like, I just don't feel like I'm really manifesting what I should. And Martha Graham was kind of a mentor to her. And she said this to her. She said, there is a vitality, a life force, an energy, a quickening that is translated through you into action. And because there is only one of you in all of time, this expression is unique. If you block it, it will never exist through any other medium and it will be lost. The world won't have it. It's not your business to determine how good it is, nor how valuable, nor how it compares with other expressions. It is your business to keep it yours clearly and directly, to keep the channel open. You don't even have to believe in yourself or your work. You have to keep yourself open and aware of the urges that motivate you. Keep that channel open. And so oftentimes there may not even be any satisfaction, but there's this queer sense of divine dissatisfaction, a blessed unrest that keeps us marching, makes us more alive than the others. And I look at the three of you and you're just manifesting that. But that song to me, I Am Light, just really says that. And the skills that you guys have developed, they're not being wasted. They're being used that as a channel for more and more music and more creativity. There's like something bigger that is flowing through into the world. And I just really appreciate what you guys are bringing. So thanks.
Thank you, David.
Hey, I wanted to invite on a couple of our students that are in different places. One's in LA and one is, but somebody is out of town. So please welcome Nicole and Will.
Hi, guys.
Nicole.
Hello.
Hey. Would you share with us what your let's see, before you share some music, actually I wanted to ask you that question that I had mentioned to the others too, is what are some of the things that you went through the program and you're actually finishing up your recital, about to finish up your senior recital, which has been challenging, no doubt, but you have, I think you've really made the most of it. And without getting into other politics and things, but you have spoken your mind and you have made things work for you. And I support how you as a human being think and get your and use your artistry and use your mind to make your world better around you. So thanks for that.
Thank you.
So let's see. So how's it been for you to learn the skills in school without losing yourself? How are you keeping your art alive?
I guess like when it comes to keeping my art alive and school, I just kind of at the time while I was at school was just putting everything together. So every time I was to like learn something new, I would want to like apply it in my songwriting. I think the biggest thing that I am doing is songwriting and just working as an artist. So, but the thing is that I definitely came to school without a lot of musical theory knowledge and not too much exposure to other styles. I didn't really come from a musical family. So for me, everything that I learned really came from LACM. So it was just a lot of being able to apply it to then make the learning experience like valid and also feel that my work outside of school was valid. So yeah.
Great. Cool. Well, you're doing it, you're doing some stuff. What's going on with your band? Are you guys still, because you formed a band while you were at school, yeah?
I did form a band while I was at school. That's definitely dissembled, and right now I'm just kind of working on my own project. I actually got more into like doing production stuff, not necessarily me, but like working with like a producer. I'm definitely working with like a classmate right now. And just like with the whole situation being in quarantine right now, I'm really focused on recording. I just got Logic and stuff, and I'm applying everything that I learned like in my class, like recording for musicians, session singing, all that. I'm taking like everything that I learned there and just applying it, which I never really expected to do. I always thought I would always just be constantly working on the songwriting part. But now that we have to be working on computers all the time, I am applying all that.
Gotcha. Cool. I hope that you'll play something. Do you have something to play for us? I'd love to hear what you're working on.
Yes, so I just came out with a song recently, so I'm gonna just pull that up on the screen.
Don't just say you're animal. Let me distract you with the preview. Baby, let me ease your mind. Distract you till you feel right. Yeah. We could close the window, turn the lights down real low. Let your fingers trace my figure. Figured you'd want it bad though. Don't be like that, I'ma move it like that. Do it like that, with your bow. You know you really in love. Don't be like that, I'ma move it like that. Do it like that, let me throw it back. You know we really in love.
So yeah, that was that.
Very cool. So you just finished this recently and you put it out. You're promoting it now?
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool. It's really, it's different than some of the stuff that I've heard from you in the past. You're kind of moving in a little bit different direction.
Yeah, I feel like definitely when I came to school, I had no idea what I wanted to do. And just like the amount of exposure I had at school, like with all the style classes, really it really shifted me like all over the place, but it also allowed me to then find like at what point, where do I want to be? Who do I want to be like as an artist? So definitely, I think I am where I need to be. But I really enjoyed like all the like experimental stuff I was doing like while I was in school, like with my band and stuff.
Cool. Really good. Thanks so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
Looking forward to hearing more. Woo!
Yay!
Cool. Want to bring William center stage now. Will, you've got your headphones on, you got your bass on, you got your microphone, you're set. What's going on with you got a little home studio recording these days?
Yeah, pretty much every single day. Every day. Whether it's like in class or out of class, but yeah.
Well, yeah, because you're taking on, where are you right now?
I'm right now.
So, and you're full-time enrolled at LACM. What class you taking?
Yes,
right
sir.
Now?
Yeah. Right now I'm taking like 12 different classes, wow. But I'm taking regular choir class with Francisco. I'm taking jazz choir ensemble class with Aaron Bentledge. I'm taking really a bunch of different performance classes, and so it requires me to be on my toes with like this almost constantly. I mean, they don't require me to play bass or anything, but I pretty much expand what I can do through these different classes.
Really wonderful. So you've got something in mind. What are you going to share with us? Is it live?
Oh yeah.
Live.
Sorry? Yeah. I'll be playing Bye Bye Blackbird. Pack up all my cares and woe. Here I go singing low. Bye bye Blackbird. Where somebody waits for me. Sugar sweet and so is she. Bye bye Blackbird. No one here can love or understand me. Oh, what harlot stories they all hand me. I make my bed and I light the night, 'cause I'll arrive late tonight. Blackbird, bye bye. Back up all my cares and woe. Here I go, singing low. Bye 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 Blackbird. Where somebody waits for me. Sugar sweet and so is she. Bye bye night Blackbird. No one who can love or understand me. Oh, what all the stories they all hand me. I make my bed and I light the night, 'cause I'll arrive late tonight. Blackbird, 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 you, Blackbird, do-do-boom, Blackbird, dum-dum, Blackbird, bye bye. Yeah, that's it.
Sounded great, man. Really, really nice. Nice tag on the end, and Aaron was saying nice flat two there. Woo!
Yeah, love me some flat twos, man.
Really nice. Really, really good stuff. Hey, listen, would you mind sharing just like a minute or so of your track it's just about to drop, isn't it?
Oh yeah. I have a song called Joy, and it's going to be released on my next EP coming out September 11th.
I'd love to hear just a little bit of that, just so we can get people excited about it, because it's so awesome what I heard so far.
All right, doing that right now.
Coming up.
Times I've seen you, all the times you said I needed you, you give me joy, you give me joy, you give me joy. Joy I feel
That is so dope. Really great stuff.
Thank you.
Really.
I try.
It's just gorgeous. So, and you learned all of this from Gary Stockdale. It's amazing. It's just like.
Yes, I did. I mean, I learned a lot.
No,
I'm like,
no, man, you just come in with all these skills, both of you, and at the school, just getting to see you guys blossom and to see you grow and to see you form relationships and find yourselves more fully. That's just, to me, just such a gift, and it's an honor to get to work with you guys. So thanks so much for sharing that.
Oh, thanks, David.
Thank you so much, David.
Hey, let's bring the faculty back on, and we'll just have a few closing comments. Jessica, if you wouldn't mind addressing the question that Kira had posed earlier, all the way from Texas. Yeah, thanks. Because I feel like you just would really relate to this. I can read it out. I'm currently at a place of realizing more multidimensionality in my creativity and having fun with learning other skills. When we're being pushed or drawn to learn so many skills like photography, videography, now building a website, building our home studio, learning how to use Logic and plugins and everything else to engage with others, I feel like people often see me as one thing or the other depending on the level they're at. They either see me as more of a singer, a songwriter, a photographer, whatever. In your experience, when is a singer taken seriously, taken fully? What do you think, Jess?
It's taken seriously when you stop caring so much about how people see you. That's what I was talking about when I was saying once I've decided to do something, I block out any outside influence, because it's very disturbing as an artist to stay focused. Because I'm like a 5-year-old. I am drawn to any movements. I'm like, oh, look, a butterfly. Then I lose my train of thought. So I have to stay focused. It doesn't matter what I do. And I think Kira is right. You don't have to obsess over being a musician 24/7. Like, you have to just let your being express itself through all kind of inspiration. So if it's making bread, like the other Kira is doing, just learn about it. If it's taking pictures, just do it. Don't question it, do it. But don't let others make you feel less of a singer because you take great pictures. It doesn't make you less of a singer to build your website, to know how to use Logic. Nothing is going to take away from you. It's only going to make you better, richer. Right?
Yeah, very true. Very true.
I love swimming. If I could, I would swim every day. That doesn't make me less of a singer.
Right.
Maybe I'm a mermaid. Who knows? But I think it's the same for everybody here. I mean, when I know Erin, she loves a lot of things. That's not all like about singing. Nicole, Gary, I'm sure, Will, you, David. And I think it's good to experiment other things too. Like, it's nice to live outside of music. Sometimes it drives me crazy, really, to only be into music. I need an outlet.
Yeah.
I dance tango, that's my outlet. I just dance tango. I love dancing tango.
Woo, nice. Beautiful. Cool. Let's say I think we're going to kind of wrap it up here, but I wanted to thank you so much for being here, everybody. Nicole and Will, is there just a few words that you might say to the incoming class of 2021 and our new students that are coming to the school? We're so excited to have this fall quarter coming on. There's some really wonderful students. I've gotten a chance to see them sing, and we just want to invite them and welcome them into this world that is not just about singing. It's not just about music. It's about a full range of life, But anyway, Nicole and Will, just a couple words in closing.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I would say is just to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because there's a lot of stuff that's going to be thrown at you. I definitely was like not expecting a lot of things that came out of like the curriculum, such as like being able to arrange for like horns, or just like even just like the level of music theory I had to deal with. I never thought I'd be able to do it, but I think with an open mind, you can just get through that. So I would definitely also just to focus on yourself. And it's really easy to compare yourself to your classmates. And you're going to, because artists have egos, so be it. But just to be able to bring back the awareness back to yourself, I think is very important as a student and just like as an artist or singer in general.
A lot of wisdom there. Thank you. Will, what do you think?
Yeah, I guess I would say just don't be afraid to try new things, but also don't be afraid to accept what you like. Like, if I could say it any other way, I don't know how I would, but that's the first thing that came to my mind. That's all I can say.
Cool. Well, that's very,
Yeah.
very wise. I saw a bunch of people, nodding their heads here. So, Jessica, you just said some things, but
Well, as far as anybody who would like to come to study to LACM, because I would like to address that specifically, because I went to a lot of different schools, and I would say what I love about LACM is that it's a smaller school, and you really get the attention of your teachers. So I call it a boutique school because I like that, boutique in French, and and also. It doesn't hurt to just try, even if you're not sure. It's better to do it and see if you like it than to not do it and regret it all your life. Because I was self-taught for a long time. I went to music school at 17, but for me it was late because I learned music by ear. And I thought, okay, I don't really need to go to school. I know everything by ear. I can pick up any chord. But then I went to school and I really realized that I needed to learn more skills to be able to communicate with other musicians and to make myself understood. And so there's nothing I regret about going to school and learning everything I learned. And I'm still learning, like I'm not done learning. But going to school for music is definitely saved my life as a musician.
Cool. Thank you. Gary, you have got a sentence of your pithy wisdom.
Hey, what are you saying to me? Do you have a list? Well, I had both these students. To see the poise and assuredness that Nicole has now is just an amazing thing. I mean, to think that I might have had a little bit to do with that, but I think what really it had to do with is school is a place where you can learn how to do in 2 or 3 years what it would probably take you 10 years to do if you were just doing it out there and learning from your mistakes. The possibility of being with someone who's been in performance situations before teaching you and learning that's really what the advantages are. And Will, has such a great instrument, and to see him progress and to make it something, to really come out with all his amazing uniqueness and the struggles that he had to go through to get there. It's like, there's nothing in this business that perseverance won't help. You have to hang in there. You have to hang in there through a lot of disappointments. You have to hang in there through a lot of work. And the deal is to be the best you that you could possibly be. And that's what we try to accomplish as teachers, to bring that out in you.
Well said. Thanks you very much. Aaron.
Yeah, I mean, if you had asked me and I didn't hear anyone speak, I hadn't heard anyone speak yet, I would have said a combination of what Will and Nicole said. So I have nothing to add. I think that was great.
Beautiful. Thanks. Well, thank you everybody for being here. I think the only thing that I would add is that the relationships that you have at school with your teachers and your students, it's not just about maximizing getting the biggest success or having people hire us, but it's really, we form friendships. And I have learned from my students, I've learned from the students at the school, the other faculty, and has made me a better human being. And to me, that's even bigger than learning music, because music is a part of that life. And just want to welcome students to come out, check out the school, check it out online. You can text or email me. Applications for spring and fall are now open, so you can visit and check that out. Just been great to be with you all. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kira. And
thank you, Kira.
Thank you, Kira.
Thank you, everybody. I'll see you around. Big hugs.
Bye.
All right, take care.